Da, 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 da. All right, episode 17. Who'd have thought? We made it all the way back. We got a part two with F1 Fantasy Hub, aka Robbie B, aka Rob Beaumont, aka the GOAT. How's it going, my guy?
Tyler, I'm well, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing well. Chris, what's up with it?
Oh man, there's a lot up with it. Honestly, I had to mute myself at the start because you did a little prep for the intro, and I had to mute myself because I was cracking up. That was a good one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but what's up with it is I'm gonna be racing a car soon, so
Oh,
just
dude,
gonna go.
yeah. Dude, yeah,
What's this?
Chris is racing his freaking his Subaru. He rebuilt his Subaru and he's racing in July at a track in Seattle.
Unreal.
Yeah, so I bought the car in 2020 around my birthday in September, and got a really good deal on it. It was a car I always wanted. When I was in high school, I tried to convince my dad to buy one, but it had like a blown motor, Subaru head gasket issues. And he was like, "Nope, that's a project car. I work on cars enough as it is, so I'm not going to come home and work on a project. You need something reliable." And now I finally bought it myself, and I'd say it's been reliable so far.
It's been reliable.
I bought it as an automatic, and I just did a big manual swap in it, and now I'm teaching myself how to drive stick. And I had my good friend Jose came and gave me a lesson, so I'm getting better. Still a little sketchy on the hills, but you know we're learning.
Nice. How does the reliability stack up against the grid?
Better than the Honda Power.
Oh no.
Hey, let's get Subaru in F1, baby.
Dude, holy shit, that'd be insane. But I mean, honestly, anyways, let's get right back to it. But 7 rounds done. We're on round 8 this week at Baku. What are we thinking so far?
Red Bull, right? It's got to be Red Bull. The straights, they're just unstoppable on them, aren't they?
I mean, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I mean, we all had the questions of just reliability at the beginning of the season. Now I'm fairly certain it's very much Red Bull's like championship this year. If Max can continue racing hard and getting first, which we're gonna get to his unlucky stint at Baku the last couple races, but he's just got to see the checkered flag this weekend. But I firmly believe after these 7 races that I think Red Bull is here to come for the lead and just keep it the whole way.
You know, as the resident Ferrari fanboy over here, it pains me to say it, but yeah, Red Bull. Uh, we started the season off saying, "Hey, it's Ferraris to lose. It's Ferraris to lose." It's already 7 rounds done, and they already pretty much gave up. I don't know if you guys saw, but Binotto was saying, "Yeah, our goals for this year were to have a competitive car, not win the world's championship." Dude, you idiot! You had the world championship. Readjust your priorities.
Bro, give us some insight on the fantasy line. Like what? I mean, it's got to be the most volatile thing to have Ferrari picks in your lineup. I mean,
Yeah,
they do great in quali, but I mean,
that's the thing. I mean, Charles has probably the best consistency of anyone on the grid in qualifying, but as soon as it gets to the race, it's either the strategy or a mechanical issue or whatever it might be. He just can't seem to take that good form in qualifying into the race. As far as a fantasy perspective is concerned, I've got Carlos and Charles both in my team, but only because Charles is far and away one of the best value for money picks in the game at 19 million. Should be more like mid to high 20s,
yeah,
given his
actually,
fast
that is
start to
kind
the
of
year.
surprising.
Yeah, they underpriced him after last year, but yeah, I mean, I'm also pretty much at the moment rolling with Red Bull and Checo because the things that he's been doing for the Bulls has been pretty impressive on the back of his last few races. Max is obviously just hanging around, even though he's leading the drivers' championship. But he's got a what is called a streak for this week in Baku, where he's had 4 consecutive races in the top 10. So a lot of people are moving towards him. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but it's pretty much a mixture of Red Bull and Ferrari amongst a lot of the top teams. So that's kind of how it's going, but I
And
think
to be honest with you, that's kind of exactly. I mean, Checo makes all the sense in the world because he's Mister. It's not like he'll ever lose you a weekend. He'll never lose you a weekend because he's Mister Consistent. Max
mm,
is, I what it's got to be him being so volatile, either finishing first or DNFing or maybe outside of the points, or it's literally like if he's within the top 10, he's probably winning the race. If he's not, he's either DNFing or just getting lost in the pack or something's happening.
mm, yeah, I
Yeah,
completely agree.
I like how you've been playing it, where you're taking Red Bull as a constructor. That gives you a little dip in the Max Verstappen territory without having to commit a big budget on him. And I think honestly, like Tyler already foreshadowed, with his past in Baku, maybe you should hold off. And I think Checo, the king of the street circuits, getting a P1
Dude,
this next weekend.
he is the king of the street circuits.
After last year, right?
This year too, he
True.
so we had you were saying Leclerc's qualifying. Leclerc qualifies P1 in the season opener, P2 in Saudi,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who got P1 when he qualified P2? It was Checo.
Checo.
And then P1 Australia, P2 in Imola, where Max got P1 and got that sprint race win, and then P1 Miami, P1 Spain, P1 in Monaco, where Ferrari had the tragic strategy decisions that
Mm.
I don't know. Twitter could have done it better than they did.
Dude. Oh my god. Well, it's like I mean, with those qualifying results, literally, I saw the list on Twitter too, bro. It's like P1, P2, P1, 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 P2, P1, P1. It's been nothing but one or two. You would
Mm.
think he'd be in the lead of the championship right now. Like you would think he'd have a firm lead.
If it was Lewis, he would be.
Ooh.
I think like if you look at Charles's results though, outside of his P1s and P2s in the race, like P6 was Imola, wasn't it, where he spun out on that corner.
Yep.
Then he
Yep.
obviously blew his engine in Spain, and P4 was a butchered strategy at Monaco. So
Oh,
it seems as though everything that has pulled him back has not been really, with the exception of Imola, his own undoing. So it'll be interesting to see once he comes into some form and doesn't have any worrying issues, how he can go head to head with Max. I still give Max the edge, but I wouldn't say it by as much as some people might think at the moment.
Yeah. I think Max and Charles are the same caliber of driver, but Max has the better team.
yeah, the consistency with their team. I mean, Max kind of when he comes into the pit lane is basically on autopilot because he's going to get taken care of. But I mean, man, like I agree. I agree with you that Max and Charles are the same caliber driver, and I agree. Like, Ferrari is still in this, just like Red Bull is still in this. But for Ferrari being super notorious for team orders, are y'all surprised to see Red Bull implementing those like completely and Ferrari not even getting close to making a team order? Because even I think they've made what? I think they made maybe one team order this year, but it's been very clear cut. Like I think Charles was obviously faster in one area, and then Carlos still was in the battle. I mean, he's finished what P2, P3. Like even the first race, I mean, like when they finished P1, no, it was the second race, finished P1, P2 at a Ferrari lockout. Like
That
I
was the
mean,
first race.
Mm.
Yeah,
are
they
you?
had that one
Yeah,
two
you're
to start
right.
the
You're
season.
right. Max and freaking Checo DNF'd.
Yeah.
I totally
I was
forgot,
riding
dude.
high. I was
We're
riding
only eight
high.
races in. It's feel like a freaking like century ago.
It does. It does. The season's been long already.
I think it's just these extra weeks in between as well, where you've got a blank weekend. It just draws the season out that much longer. I guess they do have to travel in between continents and give drivers a break every other weekend. But when you've got these 2 week breaks, it's not just lengthy for them, but it makes us seem like it's been a while since we had Monaco, right?
Dude, yeah, and I remember I used to. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Monaco and Baku used to be back-to-back weekends, but I guess they put like an off week in between? I could be totally talking like completely off the top. I'm probably am wrong, but uh I mean, it makes sense. I get it, but I mean, just give me more race weekends, please, in a row. I know. I think maybe a triple header scheduled like this year, maybe, but that's like when they get closer to like the Red Bull Ring, I think, or something like that.
So, are you saying that you want 30 races in a year in a season?
No, no, no. I think these people deserve to see their families every once in a while during the year because we have 30 races, bro. Like I think 22 to 23 is definitely enough. I like, especially with Sochi off the calendar now. What we're at 22, and
Yeah.
hope to God that none of the races get rained out this year. Praying. I just want to see Spa, man.
Yeah, true. I mean, Monaco had the rain, and that made that race so much more interesting. I don't hate the idea of rain, but I don't like it when the races are cancelled altogether, like we had last year. I can't remember what circuit that was at with.
Spa.
Was it
Oh yeah,
Spa?
Yeah,
literally,
it
me and
was.
Chris was waiting for this start for like 5 hours in the morning.
I was actually in Australia at that point watching the race at like 1 in the morning, and I was like, I can't stay up for another 2 hours. Like I won't be getting to bed until 5 if the race starts at 3. So I think I scrapped that one. But now that we're on a better time zone, I'm locked in.
Dude, that's literally my favorite track of all time. Like I know Monaco is the crown jewel of F1, but if like Charles Leclerc said, if Monaco's not an F1, it's not F1 for him. If Spa is not an F1, it is totally not F1 for me. They have not renewed that contract yet, and I am getting anxious.
I mean, yeah, it's a great circuit. I like that one along with I think the Red Bull Ring that's had a couple of good fights in the last few years, and just trying to think where else was a good. I think Germany maybe as well.
I know some of the tracks that are their contracts end this year is Red Bull Ring, uh the circuit in France. I can't think of the name
Oh,
right
Paul
now.
Ricard.
Or card.
Paul
Yeah,
Ricard,
that's a great track.
uh Spa, Monaco, and I think there's one other, but I'm not sure which one it is. Which sucks because all the tracks are pretty great. So I don't know. We'll see how it all stacks
I
up.
mean, hot take. I could do. I know. I understand. I know. I know it's F1, but I liked that it rained at Monaco because it gave it was an element of surprise and I liked it. But dude, y'all got to agree with me. These cars are way too big to keep racing on Monaco unless we get smaller cars. Like I understand Monaco is like the track, but dude, you can't do anything. What was it? George Russell that had that pretty sick switchback, like right before, I think it was right before the pit lane, that last turn. He had a nice little switchback pass, but that's about it. It's kind of a you beat people on like pit strategy at that track.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pierre Gasly on when he was on intermediates was smoking everyone that was on wets, but I mean that still shows like unless you have a serious like speed differential, you're not getting past anyone. I mean Alonso trolled the whole track, including Lewis especially.
That train was so good, wasn't it?
Dude, you couldn't make up that like the mini map of the track when half the grid was on one side and the other half of the grid was on the completely opposite direction side of the track because Alonso's just holding up like 12 cars. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's I mean, you won't find that at any other circuit really. So, I mean, that's probably a sign of how outdated the course is there at Monaco. I think traditionally it's and the history behind it is great, but I have to agree the size of the cars is just not practical on how narrow and how short the straights are to make it an interesting race. After the rain stopped, I pretty much lost interest, which was about 15, 20 laps in. So
Yeah,
they got a
no, it
tough
was it
decision
was
to
a
make.
snooze fest right after. You're totally like spot on. Once
That
the
was a
rain
perfect
stopped
time.
and yeah, once the rain stopped and they got on slicks, I was like, all right, yeah, that's literally everyone's gonna finish at the same spot. like
Yeah, I was
I'm
fighting back tears. That was the first time I ever got genuinely upset about a F1 race, and I
because
I and I now understand how Team Lewis feels. Like I didn't get it at first. I would, last year I was either or, like Max or Lewis. I was like whoever deserves it, they'll win it, right? But
Mm.
now I get it 100%. I would be. I've never been mad about a race until Monaco.
bro,
But
Rob, I'm telling you, the pit strategy, the whole pit situation happened with Ferrari. This man blew up in Discord.
Really? Oh, what was going on?
Dude,
Just my mental health
when
was
Charles came
unraveling.
in and freaking Carlos is in, they're double stacking him. They're like, "Stay out, stay out, stay out." He goes, "What are we doing? What?" We watched that live, and Chris just broke down. He goes, "What is happening? Why do they do this?"
I mean, those are the mistakes, like you guys are saying, that's going to ruin any chance Ferrari have of winning the World Championship. I think, you know, it's those small moments, although minor at times, can be significant, and that was the difference between 25 points and whatever fourth place gets. What's that, like 15 points? So, that's more ground that Charles needs to make up in other races that they just can't afford being behind already as it is.
Especially
Yeah.
with the continuing to come in form. Checo now with the brand, like we're about to get into that in his brand new contract extension and getting P1, and then Max, being Max, you literally can't, like, you can't beat yourself. You have to focus all of your energy on beating Red Bull, because
Mm.
these little mistakes, they will take, if you're gonna give them the inch, they're gonna take the whole mile. Like
Yeah.
So
that's just the way it is.
I have some quick hypotheticals. I want to hear what you guys think about it on Monaco. We all have to agree that, like you said, current era doesn't make sense. The only two solutions I see is one, F1, or there's three options here. One, F1 drops it, they stick with their car design, it's safer, blah blah blah, whatever. Two, F1 says, hey, we want to keep Monaco. We need to make our modern cars fit Monaco, so we need to start sizing them down a little bit and try to maintain their technology and whatnot. And three, you take the summer break, you make the summer break 3 weeks long, you throw a Monaco race right in the middle, and you have them come out in some traditional cars and just do a, you know,
Oh, like
Okay.
make Monaco like a spectacle instead of a race on the calendar, like a full
no,
grid event.
it's still a race because you have them in some classic era cars that actually make sense to race on the track, and you just scale down the points accordingly. You make it like sprint race scoring or something.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of like the historic Grand Prix, but in more modern day vehicles.
Yeah, like,
Throw it back to like the '06, '07, like V10s.
or I mean, I don't know. I don't know. They have to do something though.
Put
They have to do
Alonso
something.
back in his freaking '06 Renault, dude.
that,
Like
that
he
was
would
dominant.
tear it up.
Yep, yep.
I think the one I would say is probably less likely is to modify the current car to suit Monaco, because there's how like 20 plus other races on the circuit. I I don't see FIA caving to the Monaco, or the governing body that organizes Monaco's demands, just so that can suit their circuit. Uh,
That's true.
I mean, I like the idea of a novelty race that's scaled to sprint points, but at least I guess it retains that track on the calendar. But then does that eat into the budget of each team, right? And do
Yeah,
some teams want to be forking out millions of tens of millions of dollars on one race that is only going to give them as a maximum of 10 points?
Yeah, like it literally like a maximum of 10 points. You're right. You can get that at P6, P7, or P6, P5, P4. Like you can do something like that in a regular race on just another track. So I do, although it's a great idea, I do think it'd be cool. Like just like you said, you have these scattered sprint races, so why not have a like nice little like throwback historical like Grand Prix like that? That would be sick,
Yeah,
but at what
or
cost? And yeah,
you could even do two mini races, two sprint races, one Saturday, one Sunday, and just there you go. Now you got normal points almost,
and
just spread out over 2 weeks. I don't know. They have
this is
options.
on a grid without Latifi, right? Because you have to account for that.
Latifi Latifi wasn't too bad this last time.
Bro,
He
he's
he
putting
drove
a
in.
classic car in the wall, bro.
Yeah, a classic car definitely. I don't know, but yeah, we should just let's get over that. Let's talk about Checo. Dude's only 15 points behind the race leader. He's in the title fight, I think.
mm,
Rob, Rob, he's 15 points behind the leader, and they were giving him team orders 2 weeks ago.
I know. Unbelievable. I love Checo. I think he's very deserving to match Max. I don't think Red Bull will favor him. He might. It would probably take a, more than say 20 points with less than half of the season remaining for them to give team orders in favor of Checo, just because Max is a proven race winner, right?
That's
I
true.
think you guys, we might see Max win the next one or two races,
And it goes
and
right back to normal.
Perez will be an afterthought. Yeah, exactly. I think he's an excellent driver, and on his day, he's top two on the grid. But I still think Max is the favorite, no matter what Christian Horner said during the week about this is not Checo Perez racing. This is not Max Verstappen racing. This is Red Bull racing. I definitely think there's an edge for Max, and it'll probably stay that way until there's a reason for us to think otherwise.
Yeah. No, I mean that's kind of and everybody knows that. It's just it's fun to speculate, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
it just kind of solidifies the fact that, like, yes, Christian Horner's right. I know, whatever, whatever. It's not. I hate saying he's right, but he's right. It's not Checo Racing. It's not Max Racing. It's Red Bull Racing. But everybody under the sun that follows Red Bull, and everyone included in Red Bull, Helmet Marco, I'm talking to you. Uh, it is definitely at times feels like Max Verstappen racing, which is fine. But when you got a dude that literally we're 8 weekends, we're literally gonna start weekend 8 this week. Why are we doing team orders when,
Mm.
like I just said, he's only one race back? I understand Max is even, just like Rob said, even with a 20-point lead, and it's got to be like the last 3 races of the season, or 2 races of the season. Yes, obviously Checo will be prioritized, but until, I mean, we all know that's probably not going to happen. Max is gonna, as long as that Red Bull stays on the track
Mm.
and like reliable, he's gonna get it to the finish line, probably on the podium. So it's like I understand, but dude, you please don't disrespect my guy.
I think the only other thing I would add to that is if Checo wants to be recognized as maybe not the number one driver, sorry, let me rephrase that. If he doesn't want to put himself in situations where team orders will take precedence, he has to be hitting P1 in quali every single time and staying ahead of the pack the entire way through. He can't be kind of jostling around 2, 3, and 4 and then hoping that Max screws up his strategy or has an incident, whatever it is. I think like he's got to be leading from the front, Perez, and not even giving the Red Bull strategists even a shadow of an inclination to want to favor Max. Like he's got to dominate from start to finish every weekend if he wants to stay ahead of the pack and stay winning.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. He's got to put on a Saudi qualifying performance.
Yeah, no, that he. I mean, you're right. You're literally right. It's he's gonna have to put up very ridiculous numbers to stay even in the mix with Max, which, like, Max just does it. We get so, I think we're so like used to Max, and we're almost not even as impressed anymore by it. But you have to respect the guy. Like, yeah, I know. Obviously, it's not like a driver's going to his team and expecting the whole team to be backing him over the other driver. That's not it at all. But if Max is going to continue to put up those numbers, which he's well aware of that he's doing, and he understands that that team is firmly his. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo knew that team was firmly his. Like the first year he came in, Daniel was feeling the pressure the first year Max started. So it's like, and then we'll get to freaking Danny Rick. Oh, he's been, whoo. But like it's with Checo, you're going to have to match that success to even convince Red Bull to start really pushing you at the top, because I mean, I'm sorry, but your competition is literally Max Verstappen. It's kind of hard to
Yeah,
do.
you're going up against a generational talent. You know, this is
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Max is a driver that you don't see that often, but when you do, like, you're gonna do what Christian Horner did, and you're gonna get him when he's young, and you're gonna give him preferential treatment. I just hope that Checo doesn't become like what Valtteri was to Mercedes. I want to see him more like a Nico Rosberg, but without the rivalry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without trying to take each other out every weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I don't think Checo's that person at all, though. Like he's
Nah.
competitive and he wants to win, but he's not going to, um, ruin any chance of Red Bull winning a race or winning a championship. I mean, it's his 2-year contract is pretty much guaranteed how highly they favor him and where they see him in the team for the next couple of years. But by the time that contract expires, he's going to be almost 35 years old. So I highly doubt, unless he puts in world championship winning performances the whole way through, that they re-sign him beyond then if they've got such a big garage of young and up and coming drivers.
Yeah, you've got a point. Which brings me, I guess, to our next little bit.
Helmet.
Yeah, I've got a bullet point on here that says Helmut Marko's an idiot, and I'm gonna start it with that. Uh, any like honestly, that's just my umbrella thing. I just hate the guy. I love Red Bull, love them as a team. Hate that guy. I have no idea why, but that dude is saying some scorching hot take every single week in the F1 universe.
I think the thing for me is more so how he just comes off so arrogant at times, where he's like, "Yeah, Pierre Gasly. We'll think about him in 2023 or
He's got no
whenever.
other options.
He's got
He's
no other options. He's gonna have to stay at AlphaTauri. Where's he gonna go?"
It's like, yeah, low key, Rob. 2 cents on that. Where does he go? I've got an opinion, but where does he go?
Pierre,
Yeah,
I, he could end up in a bunch of different situations. I think odds are on him to stay at AlphaTauri, but if Danny Rick ends his contract a year early, McLaren's an excellent option for him to slot right into. I don't think, as we probably talked about previously, Gasly goes backwards to a back market like a Williams or
yeah.
an Aston Martin. I just don't see that happening. So it's got to be either McLaren, AlphaTauri, or in the off chance Hamilton retires out of nowhere and Ocon doesn't end up in the team, that's another option. But what do you guys think? I mean, I'm just speculating here.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I don't think I could see Ocon in a Mercedes.
yeah, it's
Not
it's
only
funny
that,
that you said that because I understand he's definitely like I know he's in the Mercedes Academy drivers and he's a part of that, but that man, that is, I don't know if I could see that. Who okay, Chris, speak on that. Besides Ocon, who could you see in that second Mercedes seat? Because we all know George Russell's number one driver at Mercedes right now. He ain't moving.
oh, um,
Hmm.
other Mercedes drivers, Alex Albon.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay. See, I had, I love the Pierre move to McLaren. I do. I mean, we all know in this chat, Danny Rick's my guy. He is Formula One to me. He's the first driver I gravitated to. He's that guy. But I really don't want him to leave, but if I understand how cutthroat Formula One is, I want to see Albon in the McLaren. Lando and Albon on the
Ooh,
same team.
That could be deadly.
yeah.
Like I understand Pierre doesn't want to downgrade. I totally get that, and it's not like Ricardo's going to go to Williams. He's just going to retire if he. I know McLaren was literally like his last team. Everybody knows that. Like he wanted to be there before Renault anyway, but had to go to Renault because it just wasn't a good opportunity at McLaren at the time. But now, since he's been there, which there's still plenty of season for him to turn it around, which I want him to. It's just, like F1 is, it's got to be soon. Your graph has got to start trending upwards at some point. So it's like I would love to see him stay, but Pierre's a solid option. I do agree with that. Like, and I think that's the most realistic option too. But Lando and Albon on the same team when we know Albon can drive the hell out of that Williams, especially
Mm.
since it's the fastest and straight in a straight line. Like that could be so good, which sucks because Williams is fastest in the straight line, but McLaren's the slowest in the straight line, but so freaking fast in the corners. So it's like I don't know. I think an Alba and Lando duo at McLaren could be almost a healthy rivalry because both of them kind of have the same ish driving styles. They've just been split by different machinery so much.
I don't hate it. I I don't know about Albon. His contract's at least through to the end of next year, I'm pretty sure.
Think so.
Um, and so if anything like that does happen, it would, I think, take a few pieces to not move in the direction of McLaren. And Zach Brown has said, they're in win now mode. They're not kind of waiting around
That's
to
true.
nurse talent. I think if it's not Ricardo and they don't go with someone that's currently on the grid, it'll probably be, I think, it's a Pato Award or Colton Herter. I think they're both earmarked if it's not going to be, a Gasly or an Albon or someone else, that they'll probably look within their own garage.
You got a
Here's a
point.
weird one. Here's a weird one. What about Seb at McLaren?
Whoa.
Because he's driving the Aston Martin pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of not his fault. He's kind of in a stinker. But it's dude, that car,
That still
like
gives you
Rob, that car sucks, bro.
Like, it's slower than my 95 Subaru
Bro,
back
like
home.
it's so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Vettel. I don't see Vettel. He's going to retire. I don't really see
Yeah,
him
Yeah.
leaving
it
Aston Martin. I think that's where he ends his career, to be honest.
fair. It doesn't really make sense to go from Ricardo to Vettel. You know, I don't know.
No.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, no,
Chris,
don't get me
Chris is
wrong. No,
walking back.
don't get me wrong. I love hypotheticals. I probably change my 20 spot hypothetical for next year every other week, and I've thought about who takes that Aston Martin seat once Vettel goes. I've even put Alonso in there, even though it's so unlikely that could happen. So I think outside the box a little bit too.
So, do you think that next year we're going to see a lot of new guys in F1?
I mean, you probably get at least three new faces, at least 2 to 3 new faces every year, right? Whether it's from F2 or IndyCar or the European circuit. Um, I think we're probably going to see Piastri. I
Yeah.
read
Oh
something
yeah,
on Twitter that it's only a rumor and certainly
he's going to
unconfirmed
Williams,
that
right?
he's going to Williams. Yeah. And then there might be that second seat at AlphaTauri if Gasly moves. So that could be like a Liam Lawson or a Deruvala or a Yuri Vips. I mean, I'm not even sure if those guys sit in the Red Bull garage, but I know Lawson does. But we could have another young driver coming through that's just been sitting in F2 for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we haven't even touched on Mick. That's another seat.
Mm.
That's
Uh,
another seat, and he's
does
gonna have to. When do we start tightening the leash? Like when do we? Because he was a rookie
Gunther
last
is?
year. Yeah, he is now. He's a rookie last year. He's learning how to drive an F1 car. You know, year two. Go ahead and control alt delete whatever you learned last year because now we're doing a brand new era car and you have to learn this one. So I get it, but Yuki Tsunoda's doing the same thing, and he's getting results. So and he's going to resign. AlphaTauri is already like they're already planning on resigning him. But I mean, here's just a silly, goofy one. Since we know Haas has a really good car, could we see Pierre in a Haas? Because Gunther hasn't put any major upgrades on that Haas because he's convinced that they haven't unlocked the current potential of the car yet. Now,
Mm, I
I
don't hate
don't.
it,
Yeah, I don't hate it either. What do you
like
reckon, Chris?
right, he could probably drive the hell out of that car.
but okay. So Haas is still Ferrari's baby team.
Mm.
Are there any like Ferrari Academy drivers on the come up, Rob?
Well, I mean, there's obviously Mick. I know Giovinazzi before he got kicked. He's still the reserve driver for Ferrari, isn't he? Or he is the reserve
He's in the
driver, I think.
garage. He
Yeah,
is in
yeah.
the
Sorry.
garage.
Yeah. So there's him. Um, no one else that stands out to me. There probably are a couple of names, but Gio and Mick. I mean, Mick's been flagged, and the only reason he would stay in F1 is because Ferrari want him there long term.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
don't.
Alfa
Yeah.
Romeo is also a Ferrari engine, right? So
Yep.
I mean, Mick could. I'm not saying this is a possibility, but he could easily be shafted to, or not shafted, but moved across to Alfa Romeo to bring someone through on Haas.
that is true. So do you think?
Mm,
I mean, we know Valtteri isn't getting the boot. So what happens to Joe Gonyu if that happens? Because he's been just played by bad luck lately. He had a
Yeah, he
good
he
Grand
has.
has.
Prix. he had a good Grand Prix in Monaco, and he even showed some aggression, like on that last that seaside chicane. That he came in pretty hot and almost lost it and saved it again. But I mean, he's showing that he's ready to drive. It's just, when he's having a decent rookie season, we just need to see like a like consistent 2 to 3 weeks of him really driving home some results.
Yeah, I mean that first race in Bahrain in the points, obviously a pretty good start for him,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's just been 11th, 15, two DNFs, so it's
it's not really an upgrade
it's
from
not
Giovinazzi.
inspiring. Yeah, I mean, how often do you see one driver last 1 year and then get kicked off?
That's
It's
well, Nikita.
Mazda spin.
Oh man, dude, freaking got kicked off and finessed money from him. Holy hell! Like
Robbed him blind.
Haas had the biggest heist of the year.
Yeah, that was
Like,
crazy. Um, what do you? So, Rob, what are
Mm,
your thoughts on Ocon? Because I've Tyler doesn't like him. I didn't
I'm
like
okay.
him.
Listen, hang on. It's that because Rob got my head spinning when he mentioned Ocon potent, like if Lewis Hamilton retires and
yeah.
maybe a Mercedes seat, and I know he's a reserve driver. I don't hate him. I just think he's the most average driver you're gonna get. Like he'll never win you a race. He only won in Hungary last year because a lot of shit had to happen.
Alonso.
Mm,
Like Alonso had to freaking defend for his life for 20 laps, and then a lot of things fell into place, and it was great. He's a great driver. I just think he is so average. Like there's just you know P P8 to P12 guaranteed almost every time. He has a good
mm.
qualifying, but something happens, and it's like something like that. Maybe he'll get like a nice little P5, P6, maybe even a P4, but he's looking 8 to 12 almost all the time.
100%. He's middle of the pack for sure. That Hungary result was an outlier beyond comprehension. I think he's I think he's it was like he's like you say, like he's 8 to 12
The
nine
freaking
times out of
planets
10.
aligned, bro.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think the reason he's been earmarked as a potential successor to that second Mercedes seat when Lewis goes is just because of his relationship with Toto. Um,
Mm,
and they're obviously very close. I'm not saying he's guaranteed that seat, but yeah, he's one of those handful of people shortlisted to potentially take that seat next to George. I find him a very hard to like driver. I don't think he's nearly as charismatic as a number of other people on the grid, like Danny Rick and Carlos and Lando. So he's just average in so many ways.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, right? Like you want to talk him up and believe in the Ocon hype, but I'm just being a realist. Where's the hype? What are we hyping up? He's consistently he will, like I said, he will never lose you a race, but damn it, he will never win one either. It's like it's he can only do so much for Alpine, and Alonso's getting more. He's just with his driving style, he takes a tad bit more risk when needed, and sometimes it goes well, sometimes it goes bad. But I mean, Ocon, it's like it's the most. All right, nice, nice. You started. You qualified P6. You finished P8. Congrats, nice race, man. And that's about it. That's about all that happens in that Alpine garage.
Yeah, I mean Alonso's had some rotten luck this year too, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like I was expecting higher things. It's just been unlucky though, so surely that's bound to change at some point for Fernando.
Nah, it's got to.
yeah,
It's got
it
to.
has
Things are
to.
looking up for him for sure.
So I kind of put together a little board right now. I have a couple drivers who's definitely going, who's at risk, and the ball's in your court for this other category. So gone for sure, Latifi.
Mm,
There's no way that he gets
Yeah,
re-signed.
I do like. Obviously, I joke and all fun and games. I do hate ripping on him every weekend, but dude, he makes it so easy, and he makes it so easy, and it's just like I don't know. He's starting to cost his dad money now. His dad's having to pay for all of his wrecks. Like it's just I don't know.
it's not worth
Especially when Nick DeFries came in and freaking outqualified him on one day of practice with the car. It's like, ugh, That's kind of tough.
Yeah, and then so we got Latifi's definitely gone.
Mm.
At risk, we have, hate to say it, Danny Rick,
Yeah.
uh, Seb. Who knows when he's gonna return? I guess he's more of a who knows. He's not really at risk.
Mm.
So let me just cancel that. At risk of going, Danny Rick, Mick, maybe Joe.
Hmm.
Uh, who knows? Lewis, Vettel, and
Yeah, I think
Alonso.
Lewis is basically on a year-to-year contract every year, huh?
Definitely.
Isn't he on 2 right now? I thought he did a 2 year.
If he did two, it's definitely like a 1+1 opt-out.
I don't see him leaving this year. Just because like if you go out this year, it's just like a bad look on your legacy, kind of. I think.
Yeah, we get to one new era, and because you dominated the turbo hybrid era,
Hmm.
it's like we're having some bad luck now. I mean, dude, he literally wanted to quit the race after like the first lap, and then ends up finishing like
Fifth
literally,
or sixth?
yeah, literally finished fifth or sixth. I think it was fifth.
Mm, yeah. So basically, all things considered, there's about 7 seats that are kind of up for grabs. It could
Ah,
be a.
damn.
It could be I would say I would put Valtteri in the who knows, but the way he's driving that Alfa Romeo, I know he's not
Nah,
leaving.
Alfa Romeo
They're not.
needs a leader like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's
Yeah. So
thriving being the number one driver at a team like that.
I think Sonoda's a fair shout for that AlphaTauri seat. They'll, you'd like to think he's putting in honest performances so far and is only going to improve. He had that fourth place in Abu Dhabi last year that just got overshadowed by Lewis and Max.
I
So
know.
it's it's bound to, yeah, the results for him are bound to improve as the season goes on.
Oh yeah, and
yeah.
he's only trending upwards too. Like his first year, yes, he was a fiery little one, but this year he's matured quite a bit, and he's not as just animated like that, and he just seems a lot more focused and just focusing on his drive. And honestly, it's been super cool to see, and I think Avatari is definitely back in Sonoda for how many ever years he decides to be there. Really, I think the ball's more in his court at AlphaTauri now.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with Seb though. Like Lance is more than likely taking that Aston Martin seat. So
Oh well, yeah.
who goes if Seb hypothetically retires? Who goes there? I don't see anyone in the green. It just is a weird color to put on anyone else at the moment.
Yeah, I think you got to bring in a young guy. And you know what's weird? We
Put the
talked about,
freeze in there, man.
what if Lewis retires? I just can't see anyone else going next to George Russell, really. I feel like if Lewis did retire and they brought in another young driver, like let's say Pierre Gasly went there, I think they're just building a Lewis and like another rivalry like Lewis and Nico 2.0.
Mm.
That's kind of what I want. That's why
That's
I
kind of what
obviously.
I want.
I mean, like I want the. That's kind of what my idea was behind Albon to McLaren and Lando, because Lando and Albon, they're all close. They stream together, play video games
Mm.
together. I want that healthy. Like it doesn't have to be as volatile as Nico Rosberg and Lewis, but dude, they were going at it on the track, but like racing, like pushing each other's gaps, pushing each other, like that. I want that healthiness, and I know that's what Danny, Rick, and Lando were supposed to be. But dude, I mean, it's it's like a small celebration when Danny Rick out qualifies or out weekends Lando. It's like
Yeah,
it's kind of tough to see sometimes.
Mm. Yeah, I
it
don't know.
hurts.
It's tough. It does. It is as an Aussie and as I mean as a McLaren fan too. It's tough to stomach.
Dude, it hurts, bro. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're from Australia. Like that. When I first started just dipping my toes in F1, literally the first driver the only one I knew by name, I was like Daniel Ricciardo. That's the dude. And like, oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad because I thought I was catching the best years of his. Like, I got into F1 like right at the end of 2018, and like I thought I was about to catch the best. He's going to a new team. He's spreading his wings. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just like
Yeah, no. Man.
It's a shame. I hope he rediscovers some form because
nah,
it would
he's
be
got
sad to
this.
see him. It'd be sad to see him flame out. after so much success in the last few years.
Well, shit. Let's move into
I
our final stuff. Here,
whoa whoa.
go. Yeah,
I
Chris.
feel like this is a good time. We've done a lot of speculating on where drivers could go, but I think it's a good time to talk about, fantasy team building
Yeah.
strategy like that. Rob,
Sure.
you want to
Yeah.
take the lead
Yeah.
here?
What's the plan
Yeah.
on Baku?
Absolutely. Baku. It's as I was saying before, Max is a favorite for a number of reasons. He's on that race streak, which gives him an extra 10 points if he finishes in the top 10, which, let's be honest, is almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Easy
Uh,
money.
assuming his tire doesn't blow out again.
Oh.
Dude, don't put that on him.
I won't. It's Charles is obviously a shoe-in as well, just because of his $19 million price point. It's making a mockery of that.
Yeah, you're almost losing money if you don't pick him up.
100%. K-Mag, not because he's had any spectacular performances in the last few races, but at 6.1, still the cheapest option in the game, and there isn't really anyone better than him up until Bottas at 9.6. So, I mean, I'm running at this point Leclerc, Magnussen, Bottas, Verstappen, and I think I'm not sure yet who goes in that fifth slot. And then Ferrari is my constructor, but Red Bull just looked too strong. It's hard for me to go away from Perez and Red Bull, but with Max on this streak and the form he's in, particularly on those straights as well, it's really tough to call for me. Other people are also opting for Norris is looking quite good.
See,
I
is
I
it
don't know about
okay?
Baku.
Yeah, that I
Yeah,
was about
true.
to say, right? I like McLaren very statistically shout out Mirko and F1 data
F1
analyst,
data
but
analysis.
like it's McLaren literally is the slowest car on those straights, and they have some long straights. And
Mm.
that's the only thing that's going to just be a huge detriment to them this weekend, I think. But at the same time, I mean, hey, they're working on their car, and Lando could, maybe show something different. But I do agree with you. And every other weekend, Lando's a good shot for sure.
He's not in my plans this week, but I think really the teams boil down to no more than 9 of the 20 drivers. 8 or 9 are really like your template picks, most of which I've already said. So it's going to be it'll be interesting. This race is at Baku is probably going to be the first race that is going to split the difference between a lot of managers that'll either have Perez, Red Bull, Sainz, or you'll have Charles, Max, Ferrari. So it could go either way, and depending on which team, Ferrari or Red Bull, comes out on top, will really determine which players do the best. So let's wait and see.
Yeah, I think my advice would be if you have Lando, sell high on Lando because I think you're getting your best performances at Monaco. It was a slower track, lots of corners. It catered
Definitely.
to the McLaren car.
Mm,
Uh, I think if I was going constructor, I have to go with Red Bull.
Red Bull. Mm.
Yeah, and I think George Russell is another great option to have on the team because he's always, top five, top five.
top five, top
Top
five.
five,
He's
top five, top five.
he's he's great. He's just at a very awkward price point at 24 million. It's
What?
Yeah.
More than
Whoa.
Leclerc?
Yeah, well, it's because the prices, as I was saying before, they just weren't really adjusted to the speed of the car this year. And I mean, whoever determines these prices were like, okay, he's on Mercedes. Mercedes were best constructor last year. He's in the fastest car. Obviously, he has to be one of the higher priced drivers, but Ferrari are clearly 2 steps ahead of Mercedes, and George and Lewis are driving what some might think is a tractor. So
I
he's
don't agree. I think their car is amazing
they're coming
right
around.
now.
Yeah, I think Mercedes will certainly be closer to the podiums
I'm
as the
still a
season
little
goes
bit
on.
with you, Rob. They're coming around. I'll buy the hype when it's undeniably there, but I'm coming around.
Okay, their
Yeah,
car's not amazing, but it's definitely shaping up to be that way.
yeah.
Like they're definitely the number one in the straight lines. Like we were just talking about Red Bull, or Mercedes has the fastest straight lines right now. They have a couple things to tweak so they can get their race pace up and keep up with the top 2 teams, but they're getting there.
Once that happens, though, Lewis and George are going to be, well in contention for double podiums. So let's just wait and see, right?
100%.
And we're talking about bad luck. Lewis has had some bad luck this season.
Yeah, he's had some pretty hard luck, but I just don't want him to give up so fast.
Yeah, he
That's
needs to
it.
go get his own master class and
Gotta go. He gotta hit
get
hammer
that
time, bro.
championship mindset back.
Yeah, he's I think maybe is it just because he's so used to winning or finishing in the places that he doesn't want his legacy to be tarnished by finishing 14th or 15th if he
Yeah.
spins out on the first corner. So he's like, oh, let's just save the engine. When in actual fact, is he actually just not wanting to finish at all, so it doesn't look bad on him?
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
I
You're
could be wrong,
100% right.
but that's
Well, I
my
think
my
you're
read
right,
on it.
Rob. He's
You
a
never know.
genius.
Rob figured it out.
Mind
Lewis
blown.
he's trying to maintain that legacy, guys. You see the great athletes fall off, and Lewis doesn't want to be one of those.
Nah, hell nah.
So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, Mercedes can make it a three constructor contest.
No, it's got to
Yeah.
be. I mean, Mercedes need a big weekend. Wow, I just completely forgot to talk. They're gonna need a big weekend this weekend because I mean they're very well. I mean George has literally kept them in the mix with kind of everything going on with Ferrari and Red Bull, and just like you said, if they get a double podium this weekend, especially let's just say if a certain someone blows his back left tire on the Baku straight. It's
Where a
like
certain someone crashes in the castle sector.
I am stupid. Dude. If that happens, I mean, Mercedes could get
If
a
Mer-
1-2 out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Probably 2-3. We still
Yeah,
got Checo
definitely
Perez,
2-3.
king of the
But
street circuit.
yeah. Oh man.
It'll be a good race. I'm really excited for it. I think I'm going to pick Max as my number one to win it all on the straights. I think Charles will probably be in for a podium, and I don't know. Let's give George the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he takes third for me.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep. Me and Rob are friends. Dude, I've been George Russell hype since day one. I had him as the 2022 champion, but obviously it's not looking like that. But nope, dude, I co-sign his standings 100%.
Yeah.
Max
Uh,
Max P1, Charles P2, and good old Mr. Sunday now P3.
Mr. Sunday. Yeah, I need a little bit more time to formulate my opinions on the Baku, but we'll see how it goes. I think Mercedes is going to show out this weekend though, or next weekend for sure. And yeah, I think you're going to see some more Mercedes hype start building throughout the middle of the season.
Good.
Let's go. Well, guys, I believe that's episode 17 in the books. This freaking awesome one. But
Right.
we've been the Lockup Podcast, and for part 2, we have had our insanely vibiest guest of the entire show, Rob Beaumont, aka F1 Fantasy Hub on Twitter, at F1 Fantasy Hub on Twitter. Of course, we're gonna link all of his shit in the comments. But man, Chris, any last words?
Yeah, I think we need to set up a sponsorship for teach an American driver how to drive stick shift and watch him try to race his Subaru. So we got sponsorships open. I got a title sponsor already in the Lockup Podcast, but yeah, hit us up on Twitter if you wanna. I don't know. We should try to figure out what we can do about that. That'd be kind of cool to put some people's like stickers on the car or something.
You already know I'm going to put my Spono gold sponsorship right there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. Always love to chop it up with you both.
Always a good time.
Dude, you're an absolute pleasure. And honestly, I very much enjoy our interactions on Twitter and covering race week with you, man. You've literally become a very good friend of ours, and it's kind of awesome.
Likewise, guys. Likewise. Again, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Please, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of our stuff. We're going to be linked in everything. Please check out Rob. Please check out at F1 Fantasy Hub. Please check him out. He's literally I've seen some competing accounts out there, and he's the best one. Go check him out. But yeah, later.